Just one of those picturesque spots, eh? We're in Moore Park Beach today. It's another coastal community close to Bundaberg. And again, I was like looking at properties, and you can get land out here for like 50 to 80 grand, like in just pristine locations. Because I was driving around and I just kept seeing like lots, vacant lots in just like beautiful spots. It's like all developed around them, and then there's just lots like just in the middle of nowhere. I'm not an investor or anything, I'm just a random dude, but I told my brother, because he's probably in more of a position to be playing with property. In the future though, I'm interested in it. Because if I got into the property game, then I could do a lot of things for like homelessness and providing services and all of that. Like first you need a space to facilitate these things. Like if you want to do a rehab or just like feed people or just give people a place to crash, you're gonna need some property. So there's just like seeds blossoming in my awareness as I'm driving around the country, seeing all the spots where it'd be affordable, and it wouldn't be like, we don't have to do it in the middle of Brisbane or like all the capital cities. We can do it, we can set it up in the middle of nowhere and build what we need to build around that, like a big farm, self-sustainable, like all the kind of stuff I'd really like to do anyway, just for my own journey and growth. Like big veggie garden, fruit trees, have some animals like chickens laying eggs, like all that stuff. And that's all therapeutic anyway. So yeah, that's definitely like still, that's going around because I've talked about it a couple of times, looking at properties and that. And really I'm just starting to relax, like kind of winding down after this big huge quest. It's like not a quest anymore, I'm like in holiday mode. Also found this snake. I think he drowned, and I just thought that's really cool, and I hung him up there, but some people walked past and they were like a bit weirded out by it. I reckon I've seen more snakes on beaches than anywhere else, like probably 5 times more snakes, but I spend more time at the beach. And they're always cruising around in the morning glory, like where the purple flowers are, you know, the viney stuff. And morning glory, fun fact, a bunch of different morning glory, there's like thousands of them, but a bunch of them are psychedelic. You didn't hear it from me. And it grows like all over the coast, all over the world pretty much, like anywhere where it's coastal and warm, and yeah. And there's heaps of fruits that naturally grow on the coast. I would never go hungry here, there's so much food. But yeah, I see heaps of snakes. I saw one in Tannum Sands recently. It just slithered straight up to me. I was like sitting on a chair and it just came straight up to me, like reared its head at me, like, hey, and then it just like went on its way, and I was like, holy fuck. Like I shit my pants just from like shock. But yeah, these snakes aren't out to get ya. They're minding their own business. Unless, yeah, well, you're too big for a meal, and that's all they're really looking for, or like somewhere to just rest and be safe, looking for some sunlight. I saw a bunch of bearded dragons the other morning, and they were like, it was before the sun came up, and it was cool. I sat there and watched them for a little bit, because like, you know, cold-blooded animals, they need the sun to like get moving, and that they were still really cold. And it's like that's as far as they could kind of get, and it's like they were moving in slow motion. Like any movement, like they move their head to look at you, like, ooh, like just, it's like yeah, like when you got to warm the car up, like old cars, you got to warm them up before you can drive it. It's like all the oils and stuff, like the blood in the cold-blooded system is like, yeah, getting ready to actually circulate the body and move the muscles. Reptiles are pretty interesting, hey? But it's also, when that snake came and reared its head at me, that was a little bit of a synchronistic sign as well. So I was chatting to someone and I was getting like a bad vibe, but I wasn't sure if it was just me or like I was reading into it or something. And then yeah, like at the exact moment where I was like trying to make up my mind, the snake came and like reared its head at me, and it was almost like, yeah, a weird kind of sign, like, don't trust this person, just leave it alone, move on. There's an agenda here, there's something not quite right. So yeah, I don't know, I have a weird relationship with snakes. I love them. They're like beautiful, versatile, incredible creatures, but they also can kill you very easily, and they're like very dangerous. And yeah, but I think that's another thing that makes them cool. So I'm watching, because these journals have begun to be posted, and I'm watching, and I was worried that the kind of journals where I'm just talking about my day and talking about this kind of stuff, like, oh yeah, I saw a snake, like I was worried that nobody would be interested, but it seems like, yeah, the story's the story. No one's really has any expectations for what's going to come out of the journals. It's just, let's see what's on episode 100,000,005. There's going to be a lot of them. And then we're going to keep them going, because I love this. I love just like documenting like the journey, and I love it for myself too. It's funny watching like old ones, like being like, wow, look at all that shit I cared about, or like, oh, that insight, actually. Every now and then you're like, fuck, I forgot about that. That's an important life lesson right there. It's cool. And like memories with other people too. Got heaps of like, most of it, like heaps of ones on private and that, but like, yeah, I got really cool videos with my whole family, like edited ones with like just beautiful like long weekends, and when my nephews and nieces started being born. And I love the fact that I like cameras, and I capture moments and I document my life. Like, one of the motivations for that is like Alzheimer's runs in my family. So from an early age, I was like, well, I'll just film my entire life. And then when everybody's trying to explain to me like, yeah, you had 3 kids and yeah, like we're related in some way, and I'm just there like, like they can show me like my own life. Like that movie 50 First Dates, where it's similar, it's not the same, but it's similar. 50 First Dates, the fella, he meets this girl and he fucking loves her, but then he finds out that she forgets everything every single day. So he just keeps meeting her every single day, and it's like gets real complicated. There's a whole movie to it, obviously. But in the end, he just like records like a movie, I'm pretty sure, and he plays it to her each morning, and they like sail around the world on a sailing boat or something. Like, it's pretty cool. So that kind of train of thought, like, I'll just capture so much of my life that there'll be a record of it. But at the same time, I'm not scared of Alzheimer's anymore, because I understand through diet, exercise, and exercising my mind, and like a bunch of the different things that I've done in my life, as well as like dealing with all of the trauma that's stored inside of me. That's like one of the reasons why we start having those regressions when we get into that old age, is like because there's stuff that's unprocessed, undealt with, and we don't want to carry it over into our next incarnation with our spirit, if you believe that. Yeah, so I don't think that my mind is going to turn to mush, but I have watched like family members and stuff like completely forget who they are and who everybody around them is. So it's a really like heartbreaking kind of condition. And then like put on top of that like a bunch of medications, and yeah, your body starts failing you, and yeah, it's like kind of horrifying, especially like you're experiencing that as a little kid. Like I was like young when I was watching my like great grandmother slowly deteriorate. Yeah, but I have faith in my mind and my body and my spirit. And even if like I'll be right. Like I've been reading Marcus Aurelius again. He's the Roman emperor from like 2,000 years ago. He recorded his journals for us, and it's published in a book called Meditations. And his journals are obviously a little bit more profound than mine, because he was ruling one of the biggest empires in the history of the world. But it's a lot of similarity. Like he's just trying to live a good life and be a good man. And yeah, one of the things he keeps saying is there's nothing that's going to happen to you that shouldn't happen. Like, that you're built for the life that you have. Like, nature isn't going to deal you cards that like you shouldn't be playing. And that, like, and he breaks it right down to, like, even if you're like fully, everything's wrong, you've lost both your legs, and like, I'm just making this up, but it's like along the lines of the Stoic philosophy that he's into. Yeah, like if you lost both your legs and you're got a heart disease and you've gone blind in one eye and your hearing's gone and everything's all fucked, it's still your journey. Like, there's nothing there that shouldn't be there. It's like, and he also talks about how we should look at these circumstances that emerge in our life, like things that go wrong, as we say, as prescriptions. Because one of the doctors back in his time used to prescribe things like huge long walks barefoot on like rocks and like just hectic things like that. Just like go and do some shit, go and have some challenge and like grow yourself. Like that would be his prescription for like what you got, like for depression and stuff like that. But they probably didn't call it depression back then. Or like for even physical things, like just go on a quest and harden up, like what I'm doing now, kind of thing. But yeah, he says look at everything that happens to you as a prescription from like the whole, like the oneness, the universe or whatever, and from nature. Like nature is prescribing you this challenge because this challenge is what you need to grow yourself. So I like a lot of that philosophy. I especially like breaking down everything to nothing that's happening to you shouldn't happen. And like that's, of course you could be triggered by that depending where you're at right now in life. Like it could be totally fucked for you right now. But on the other side of these things, you always look back and you think, wow, I went through that and now I understand more deeply so many things because I had that experience. I've met some people that are really good examples of that. But at the same time, we shouldn't expect people to just fucking crush it at life even when they have setback after setback after setback. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that like we should have all the empathy and care for people that are suffering, but like if you are the individual who is suffering right now in the present moment, it's your choice to take it as like a prescription from the universe. Like it's something that you need to grow into something more. And if you believe in the whole reincarnation thing, like you go through all these experiences in this life to grow your spirit, so when you come back in the next life, you're not going to have all the same deficiencies of your physical vehicle that you have right now, but you're going to have all the lessons that you learn from it. You're going to have the gratitude and appreciation for a fully functioning vehicle, and there's probably a reason that you incarnated into this life to experience all of that. You probably needed to see it for whatever reason. You had to have these experiences to restore balance to your own journey, kind of thing. You're getting a little bit like into like that area where, I don't know, I don't like talking too much about spiritual things because then you get into this place where you're like telling other people how to interact with reality and life. Like you can have your own beliefs, but I do believe like there's universal law, and I've been learning about that. But yeah, I'm not here to project onto anybody else what they should believe at all. I'm just trying to like share just all this random stuff. It's not advice or guidance. It's just random insights and exploration of my own consciousness for a camera. In beautiful locations at the moment. Pretty excited. I'm going to catch up with some people in Hervey Bay very shortly. Teed it up with one fella, and then he's kind of taken it upon himself to connect me to a whole bunch of other people. So that's going to be really interesting. After so much alone time, I'm probably going to be with a big group of people. I like one-on-one better. Like if there's too many people, too much going on. I don't know. I just like the more direct connection, not like ping-ponging all over the place. But yeah, it'll be awesome. We're gonna have a barbecue with these people. Big cook-up, and I'm gonna love that because I've been eating so much fruit. Just need some cooked food, healthy cooked food. Probably, maybe, we'll see. Just keep meeting such cool people, cool stories. Guess like this is where they are. Like they're on the road, going to all these amazing places, enjoying their lives. It's just chilling at like, because like the whole thing I've been doing, I've already told the journal before, but if you don't know, is like I come to a place like this, like a beautiful beach location, but you can't camp near here without paying like 15, 30, even more. So I just drive out of town and I go to like a free rest stop, roll out my swag, sleep, and then wake up at sunrise and hit up another really beautiful place. But I was like at one of those rest stops last night, and it's like so basic, like just drop toilets and that's it. Like a couple of tables, not a lot of shade or anything, but it's afternoon, so it doesn't matter. Surrounded by like just bush, and there's nothing going on. And I was just chilling there, the sun's setting. There was like a few other people around. Then one older couple in their caravan put on some like tunes, and it's like not intrusive, like not super loud, but just enough so that like music was in ya, like there's a bit of rhythm in your blood. And I was like, yeah, just like sort of bopping along, watching the sun go down. Had a chat to just this random who's just had one of those like coloring in books. Had a really good connection there, like really easing into this. Just like I had that mantra that I mentioned a couple of days ago. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing because I know what I'm doing. And I've just kind of like, I've kept going with that. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to go read my book while the sun's setting and chill out to this music. And then just things flow more naturally than if you're like looking around at everybody else. Like what's everybody else doing? I just do my thing now, and it works really well. Yeah. Beautiful experiences. Click the like button for me if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear where you're at, what's happening, what you're getting out of these journals. Why are you here? And yeah, check out the links in the description because there's cool stuff in there as well.